The perimeter of a square is half the area of a rectangle. A wire is bent to form 3 such squares and 2 such rectangles. 20 centimeters of wire is left. If the length of the rectangle is 15 centimeters and its breadth is 12 centimeters, we're asked to find the length of the wire. Now, you're perfectly able to do this question. It's a great question, but there are a lot of little traps to be aware of. The first one, just even in this first sentence here, the perimeter of a square is half the area of a rectangle. So this is something that you might want to draw a model of, and I will do, but you need to be aware that there are different units involved, and you need to label your model very carefully so that you keep all of these bits straight in your head. Okay, so we've got the perimeter of a square. So let's start. We'll draw over here. Now I am writing this out in full. Perimeter of square. And normally I just put a single letter label. If I was going to draw a bar for a square, I just write S. But because these units are so different, I want to be really sure that I am capturing the right information. So we've got perimeter of square and area of the rectangle. Okay. So the perimeter of the square is half the area of the rectangle. So we're going to get a sort of a value for the perimeter of the square, of a square. And that is going to be half of the value of the area of the rectangle. Okay. So if that's the perimeter of the square, this is going to be the area of the rectangle. And in fact, I want to keep this straight, I'm going to make a little thing here. So this is area of one rectangle. Okay, this is the perimeter. So this is going to be in centimeters squared. This is in centimeters. Okay. What else do we need to think about? So, well, do we remind ourselves what's the perimeter? The perimeter is if I had a rectangle, let's say I'm going to draw one here. This is a bar as opposed to my drawing of a rectangle. So this is a rectangle. Okay. The perimeter is this outside line, okay, the border line, all right? And this wire is being bent to make this shape. So when we talk about the wire, we're talking about the length, and that is equal to the perimeter, okay? So yeah, the amount of wire used to make a shape is equal to the perimeter of that shape, all right? And then area, of course, is the space inside the shape. So in this case, if this rectangle had a breadth of 2 and a length of 4, well, area is length times breadth. So in this case, that would be 4 times 2, which equals then 8 centimeters squared. Okay, so we need to have all this in our minds and, write something like this out to make sure that we've got all of this straight and we can figure out what information we need. Okay, right, what does it tell us then? A wire is bent to form 3 such squares, so 3 squares like the one described here, and 2 such rectangles, 2 rectangles like the one described here. And 20 centimeters of wire is left. Okay, well, we could draw a bar for the wire So this is the wire for the wire. Okay, and we have got three parts. Okay, all right, 3 parts are for the squares, and don't worry that these themselves aren't squares, and 2 parts for rectangles. Okay, let's just make them make sure that they're a different size. It doesn't matter if you do them bigger or smaller, and let's label them. So we've got squares, squares, square, rectangle, rectangle. Okay. And actually, what does this bar represent? We also need to make that clear. So this is this is going to be dealing with length, or which is the perimeters of these shapes. So these are all the shapes. So this part here, okay, is the perimeters of all shapes. And I said this part here because actually what I haven't drawn yet, because it says 3 such squares, 2 such rectangles, and 20 centimeters of wire is left. So I'm going to draw another bit of bar, and that has the value 20. All right, this is 20 centimeters. This part of the bar is the length of wire used to make the perimeters of all the shapes. And here we have 20. So this here is the length of the wire, the total length. All right. Okay, so what are we told? Well, we are told that said if the length of the rectangle is 15 centimeters and its breadth is 12 centimeters, find the length of the wire. Okay, so we could start by finding the perimeter of the rectangle. Okay, let's try, we'll do that first. So I'm going to deal with a rectangle. All right, and what do we know? We know that the length is 15 and the breadth is 12. So we could draw a representation of it if we liked. So the length is 15 and the breadth is 12. So if we want to work out the perimeter, I'm going to just put a P for perimeter. So the perimeter equals, well, if this is 12 and this is also 12, if this is 15, this is also 15. Okay, so that is going to be 12 plus 12 plus 15 plus 15. Okay, that's going to, if we add all of that up, that is going to give us the perimeter. Okay, and the perimeter of this rectangle is 54 centimeters. That's 54 centimeters altogether. 54 centimeters. Okay, 12 plus 12 is 24, plus 30 gives us 54 centimeters. So we know the perimeter of the rectangle, and we know that that's important. Okay. All right. And where can we put this information? Well, these are all to do with perimeters. So now we know we can put a value in here that the perimeter of these rectangles, each of them is 54. So that's 54, that's 54. I'm not putting in the units. I know that all of this is centimeters, okay? All in centimeters. Right. Right, where are we so far? Now let's go back to this model here. We were comparing the perimeter of a square to the area of the rectangle. So we need to know not just the perimeter of this rectangle, but the area of this rectangle. And area, okay, we need to know this is length times breadth. Okay, so the area of this rectangle, the area, okay, see, I'm going to, all right, the area is 12 times 15. All right, so 12 times 15 is going to give us the area of this rectangle. And 12 times 15 is 180. And it's 180 centimeters squared. So this is important. Where are we going to put this value? So we can then go up here and we can see that this is the area. These two blocks together are the area of one rectangle, which is 180. And we can see that if we divide 180, if we divide that by 2, okay, we are going to get what the value is of each of these equal parts. So that's 90. So this is 90, this is 90, this is 90. Now this is 90 centimeters squared, this is 90 centimeters squared, this is 90 centimeters because that's the perimeter of the square. So we now have another value that we can plug into here. So this is 90, 90, and 90. Okay, well, we are getting somewhere, aren't we? Let's go back and look at our question and see actually what was it asking. It says, find the length of the wire. I should have put a question mark in here. This is what our question is. What's the whole length? And we have a value now for all of these parts. Okay, so we've got 3 squares. Okay, so that would be, that's 3 times 90. Okay, and that is 270, of course. And this is centimeters. All right, we can just think 3 times 9 is 27. 3 times 9 times 10 is 270. We have got 2 rectangles, so that is 2 times 54. Okay, and that is going to give us 108 centimeters. Okay, and then we have the additional 20. So the total perimeter, the total length, I should say, shouldn't I? The total length is going to be 270 plus 108 plus the 20 that we have, that 20 centimeters that was left over. And if we add all of that together, we are going to get 398 centimeters. So perfectly doable. Hopefully you found that the model helped. I think it does in terms of, keeping track of what it is that you're calculating, because you really have to think about what you're drawing. And then at every point, every calculation that you make, think, well, what did that mean? Remind yourself, what did I calculate? What is that telling me to help me do the next step?